No end in sight to Russia's attack on Ukraine. Some U.S. lawmakers now say the U.S. really needs to step in and take more action to stop Russia. Our Washington, D.C. correspondent Alexandra Limon joins us live from Washington with more on what lawmakers are saying now and why the U.S. has not done more to intervene. Good morning, Alex.
Sean, good morning. Well, it's a delicate consideration for U.S. lawmakers and the Biden administration, deciding how much more the U.S. can get involved because of concerns about how Russia could retaliate. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said Ukraine won't give up its fight against Russia in the besieged eastern city of Mariupol.
It is very important for us not to allow them to stand our ground.
That despite the warning from Russia to the remaining troops there to surrender or die. On CBS Face the Nation, Delaware Senator Chris Coons said the U.S. shouldn't give up either.
The American people cannot turn away from this tragedy in Ukraine.
Senator Coons advocated for more U.S. involvement in Ukraine.
I think the history of the 21st century turns on how fiercely we defend freedom in Ukraine, and that Putin will only stop when we stop him.
And on Capitol Hill, more than one U.S. senator has said perhaps U.S. troop involvement in Ukraine shouldn't be completely off the table, as Russia shows no signs of backing off its attack on Ukraine.
The president, in terms of his decisions as commander-in-chief, need to look clearly at the level of brutality.
Russia has already sent a warning to the U.S. to stop sending weapons to Ukraine. U.S. involvement in helping Ukraine has been measured in part because Russia possesses nuclear weapons that some experts fear Putin would use. And Pope Francis addressed those fears in his remarks Easter Sunday.
Metteremo fine al genere umano.
Shall we put an end to the human race, or shall mankind renounce war? Asked Pope Francis. And another reason the U.S. hasn't sent in troops to help defend Ukraine is because that country isn't part of NATO. And so far, President Biden has been firm in his decision not to send in U.S. troops. Live in Washington, Alexandra Limo.
And Alex, before you go, I know the Biden administration is getting a lot of pushback, especially from the Republican side of the aisle. In fact, I think it was Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy actually has been saying for, I guess, yesterday and over the weekend that the Biden administration should have done something earlier. Has there been any response from the Biden administration at this point from what McCarthy was saying?
Well, it's really early on. As you know, most of the lawmakers and members of the Biden administration, including the president, were out of town for the Easter holiday. And so it being pretty early here, we don't have a response from the Biden administration. But we do know that what they've said all along is that, the response has to be measured, again, in part because of the things we mentioned. Ukraine is not a part of NATO, and there is, the consideration of how Russia will react if the U.S. does get more involved.
All right. Great job, as always, keeping us posted on all of this and breaking it down for us. Alexandra Limon reporting live from us from Washington, D.C. We appreciate it, and we'll see you a little later.